Welcome to this episode of Alive and Thriving. Today is especially for you if you are a coach or a healer, a practitioner, somebody who is tired of playing it small and ready to fully embody your successful self, someone who is ready to reprogram your mind for entrepreneurial success and ready to really step into your next level of income and impact. Welcome to Alive and Thriving. My name is Jessica. If you are brand new here, if we have not met, I am an alternative therapist and holistic business coach, and I work with female founders just like you and help them to really master their emotions and embody their success. Now, today I was thinking about what am I going to share with you guys for this episode? And I just kept having this nudge that the right thing to share with you is actually giving you access to a free training that I ran a couple of weeks ago. Now, why do I want to give you access to this? I feel like, okay, this message in this training is just so important. This training is going to help you learn how to rewire your mindset so that you can really shift from that employee thinking into a really empowered entrepreneur thinking. It is going to help you to strengthen your emotional resilience and learn how to stop making the external results that aren't maybe going the way that you want them to be going in your business. Maybe your calendar is not booked out. Maybe your programs are not selling the way you want them to right now. But we're going to learn how to stop making that about you and stop making that mean something more than what it actually means. And then you're going to learn how to break through your self sabotage so you can actually identify the limiting beliefs that are holding you back right here, right now. Now, rather than just talking you through all of this, I thought I'm actually just going to give you access to the training. So that is what we are just about to cut to. You may like to switch over to YouTube and actually watch. There are slides that come along with it. Otherwise, you can absolutely just listen. You can absolutely do that. You will get lots out of this either way. Now, just as well, for a little bit of context, from about 1 hour in, I will start speaking about my embodied entrepreneur program. So, if you're looking at timing today and you're like, oh, this looks like a long episode, know that I just need your attention for an hour. And then it's up to you whether you hang around to listen to the rest or not. So, let's get into this training now. I'm so excited to share this with you because, again, this is just such important messaging, such an important message that most people need to hear. Like literally everyone I'm speaking to at the moment needs to hear this message. So here it is. Enjoy. I want you to make yourselves really comfortable for today's event. We are going to be diving deep. We are going to be exploring your inner world. So if you can, limit distractions. But if you are listening, on your headphones or something like that, that is absolutely fine. I'm so grateful that you are here. Welcome to Awaken the Energy of Success Within. If you could please have with you a journal. And today, I'd like you to have a piece of paper as well, just a plain sheet of paper if you can, because that is going to be used a little bit later on as we move through. Now, if you are here with me live, and welcome to everybody on the replay as well, but if you are here with me live, because you are the woman who has shown up for herself today and invested in her time to learn and to grow, when you stay to the end, and my very clever software is going to tell me who does that, then I'm actually going to gift you an exclusive hypnotic track that is valued at $200 or $199. And this is going to help you to reprogram your subconscious mind to match the energy of success. And today we're going to actually be talking about what the energy of success is for you. Also, just for coming, if you take a selfie at some point during today's session and share it on your stories, make sure that you tag me and you will go into the draw to win a private coaching call with me. And that goes for you on the replay as well. You can take that selfie watching the replay and share it to go in that draw too. It will be drawn in the last week of October. So, for a little bit of context today, we, as I said, are going to be diving deep into the energy of success. We are going to be diving into what that looks like for you. You are going to hear me talk throughout today about my embodied entrepreneur program, because as we move through this work today, that is the most logical next step to continue the work that we do today. You are still going to get so much out of today, but if you choose to want to move forward, the Embodied Entrepreneur is a 12-month integration for impact driven entrepreneurs, coaches, healers, service providers who really want to cultivate the internal resources. So, your nervous system state, your beliefs, your emotions, your mindset, all of that whole internal picture to embody your version of success and create a deliciously lucrative business that is sustainable and scalable that you feel safe to hold. So, for those who have not met me yet, hello, welcome. My name is Jessica Reed. I am a mum of two girls. I am a visionary, a 6'3" Manny Gen in my human design, a line 2 in my Enneagram, if you follow any of those. I am a little bit woo woo. I do love everything energetics, mind, body connection, and business. Also love being by the beach, spending time with my kids. I have two girls. They are now 9 and 4. To think about that, she's nearly 5. I absolutely love everything health and wellness. You'll find me walking, exercising, spending as much time with friends and like-minded individuals as possible. And I have been on this really long journey myself of reconnecting back to myself after this really long journey of disconnection. And I'm going to share a little bit in a moment, with you about that. Now, I cannot see your beautiful faces, so I really do encourage you today to be active in the comments so I'm not just sitting here chatting to myself for the next little while. You are welcome to ask questions throughout. I will do my best to probably circle back to them at the end, just so that we're not sort of interrupting and pausing today's session. And, I know that you are here today because you are tired of second guessing yourself in your business. You're wondering what magic formula other people must be using to be successful while you're here feeling like you're doing all the things and you're getting nowhere. Now, this stops today. This absolutely, if you choose it to, stops today. You will not leave today's experience thinking and feeling the same way, because we are going to illuminate new pathways and bring new awareness into your world. And once we bring awareness in, there is no undoing that. So I want you to know that I have been where you are. I have brought all of the traditional old ways of doing of working into my business. All of my old conditioning from my past employment, the dollar per hour trading, the attachment to my worth, the old beliefs and fears that had me undercharging, that had me saying yes to everyone even if they didn't feel aligned for me. I was negotiating prices from my $50 an hour. I was launching to people to absolute no shows. I had people who just wanted free things from me. And so much of that, I felt like I had all of this strategy and I was doing all of the right things. And I had to learn that so much of that was actually a mirror of my internal world. And that's a little bit about what we're going to chat a little bit more about today. So, for those of you who don't know me and you are wondering why learn anything about personal development or business from me, on this timeline, there is a collective of 17 years where I have either been entrepreneuring right from the age of 12 or running really high level business with multi-million dollar budgets and support teams of around 48 to 50 people. We have a 7-figure family business, my mentoring business, my healing business. My calendar is completely full. I have established reliable, sustainable income from that business. And that is all because I learned how to unbecome my time for money beliefs and created group programs and offerings that are not only scalable, because one of my core values is, first of all, my health and well-being, and I really feel like it's not practical to be, working 20, 30 clients a week just to make sure that I can actually afford my bills. So scalable, but also align with my core values. Over the last few years in business, I have invested in over $125,000 in mentors, amazing mentors who are where I want to be. And something really important that I look for in my mentors are people who didn't just get there overnight, people who didn't just have an overnight success. Okay. People who've actually learned what it takes to have what do you call it, resilient mindset, who've been knocked back, who know the hard and the good, who are actually doing the things that they say that they are doing, who are actually out there living the life that they say is possible, are not just preaching something on Instagram. So I'm very careful with who I have learned from. And my mentors are people who have learned from some of the biggest names in the online industry. They have been directly in masterminds with people like James Wedmore. They are in same masterminds as Amy Porterfield. My mentors are my expanders. I am constantly meeting my new edge and going first. I have learned so much through this experience that you can see here as a line 3 in my human design. One of my superpowers is actually to share through my mistakes. So I go first. I learn, I experiment, I make mistakes. And that was a big thing that I had to overcome with my ego, that it is actually okay for me to make mistakes. I have gained so many lessons, and now I am here to share them with you. So, some of you may have heard this story before. When I was 25 years old, I left my full time employment to start a business that absolutely lit up my soul. I was 2 years into creating and running a health and wellness exhibition that had attracted nearly over 100 exhibitors, a few thousand people through the gates. And in the second year, I lost money. I lost around $40,000. Now, that for me was enough for me to completely ghost this business, run away and hide, and bring in this shame story that I couldn't run a business. So, let me tell you a little bit about my conscious desire here versus my subconscious programming that I was operating from. So, consciously, I told myself that this was going to be really successful. I wanted it. And to everybody else on paper, it was successful. It did. It came together exactly as I envisioned it. Subconsciously, though, my relationship with money had a lot of leaks to plug. Okay. These were beliefs like money is really hard for me to earn. It's always scarce. We're always chasing our tail. There is barely enough. I need to sacrifice in order to make money. And these are things that came from my childhood. And so the way that this surfaced for me, and as I share this story, I would love for you to sort of sit with your own money beliefs, because if we don't have a belief that money is safe for us to hold, then that is going to be a huge block in terms of actually allowing and receiving things into our business. So this surfaced for me as discounting my already too low pricing, giving things away for free, overcommitting financially, planning with hope. Now, unless you are a hope motivation in human design, which you may very well be, unless you are a hope motivation, hope is not a business strategy. Okay. And the beliefs that I held, my open head center in my human design, that meant that I was really consumed with everybody else's opinions, what everyone else thought I should be doing, what was right, what was wrong. I just basically felt this shame that I immediately shut down. And I ghosted the business. I went back to my old relationship strategies. When I wanted out, I ghosted it. I ended up falling pregnant at that point in time with my first child, and it just felt safer to go back to traditional employment, because in my mind, I was wearing a big failed sign across my forehead, which wasn't true. It was not true. But for me, I felt it here in my gut. I felt it all in my chest. I carried that shame around with me for years. So I actually wore that shame like a guard of armor, like protection. I could not even look at like a memory like this photo, the old commercial, without wanting to curl up and hide. Okay. And this all tied right back to where I had first felt shame in my body. I remember getting in trouble when I was in kindergarten. I felt like I had failed in front of everybody. And being able to go into my body and really find where that shame was living was a real key for me to be able to actually let it go and release it and heal this. And I wonder if you could share with me, has anybody else felt like they failed here? Have you felt like you failed and like everyone is watching and like, it's just the end of the world now because your body feels it so heavily? Let me know if that resonates with you. So the universe had a plan for me, as it does. And the fact that I was fighting that plan because I had gone back to traditional employment, I ignored every bit of my body that wanted to do something else, and my body was trying to get my attention. So I was looking after a team of 48 support staff with responsibilities that meant that my eldest daughter had 12-hour plus days in daycare. I was chronically stressed. I was holding on to unhealed trauma from a major car accident in 2009. I had medical trauma, PTSD. I ended up dislocating my knee, having a pulmonary embolism, SVT, which is supraventricular tachycardia. So abnormal heart rhythm, digestive issues, chronic vestibular migraines, and ended up spending most of my days showing up to work, raising a child, trying to live a life in a panic disorder, literally from the moment I opened my eyes. So I am sure that a lot of you here have been in a similar story where you have been able to turn your pain into a purpose. That's a little bit like what's happened for me. My intolerance for medication and the part of me that was determined that there had to be a better way to live led to me finding EFT tapping. And this was a turning point in my life that lit this pathway for me to heal deeply, for me to learn how to support my nervous system, and for me to learn how to reconnect back to myself and find purpose and fulfillment and set boundaries and do things that I love and the confidence to come back into this entrepreneurial space. So now I get to feel different. I get to have a different experience in my life. I get to do business differently with a healthy emotional experience, with a mindset and subconscious programming that is actually going to support me to be successful. And I get to help others do the same. I've been able to combine this amazing experience, well, it's not really this painful experience, sorry, with all of the amazing modalities that I shared with you in the Who Am I earlier. And I have been able to combine that with my past business experience and now turn that into what you see here, this amazing business as I run my six-figure healing and mentoring business and I co-run another seven-figure business. I am here to bring all of that now to you. So here is what I know about you. You are ready to stop playing it small and embody your version of success. You are ready to reprogram your mind for entrepreneurial success. You are clear on what you want to achieve. You are ready to invest in yourself with time or with money to make that happen faster. And you are ready to step into your next level of impact and income because you are done with the hustle and burnout culture. That is what I know about you. I also know, though, that you're struggling telling yourself that business is hard, that you are questioning whether or not you are cut out for this, even though you dread the idea of going back to a real job. Maybe you're having trouble staying in your own lane as you wonder why, someone else can get these results and you can't seem to. Maybe you just need to give it all up, all these thoughts. Maybe you're wondering if you can really make money from this or if you can really break through that 5-figure month or turn profit. Maybe you are struggling with shiny new strategy syndrome. Oh my goodness, I had that for a very long time. It was pivot. Not always the solution. So all of feeling like that then leads to scrolling to see whether or not you should get a real job, what's available on Seek or Jobs Online or wherever we're looking for jobs these days. It leads to you procrastinating in your business, leads to not holding clear boundaries or even knowing what your boundaries are and wasting more money on new strategies. That is that shiny strategy syndrome that I just mentioned. This also might leave you feeling embarrassed when people ask you about your business and also feeling fear and anxiety about your future as well. Let me know if any of this is resonating with you because this all changes today if you choose, because you are now deciding, and that is a really key thing. You are now deciding that it is going to change. So if you choose, this can be a moment that you're going to want to remember. You're going to want to mark it in your diary as a day of change. One where you decide that from here on in, things are going to be different. You are going to master your inner world. So do you give me permission to expand your thinking today? Do you give me permission to point out your blind spots so that you can get to make an empowered choice about moving forward? And do you give me permission to illuminate a new pathway of what is possible for you? If that is a yes, then we are going to now connect in with your body. Okay, I love to start masterclasses like this. One of the things that we talk a lot about in Embodied Entrepreneur, but also in my mastermind as well, is feeling safe to hold the new experiences. And a part of that, sorry, is being able to find somatic connection and somatic safety, which means pausing to come out of your head. And this is really important. This is really important because this is going to activate your reticular activating system, training your brain to actually look for new possibilities, highlighting a new pathway for you, which is just so exciting because it literally means that you are not walking away from this masterclass the same woman with the same thinking patterns that you had when you came in. So I'm going to get you to find a comfortable position, whether you're seated or laying down. And we're not going to go super deep. We're not going into a hypnosis. We are just going into a nice guided visualization here. So I'm going to invite you to close your eyes and start by taking a nice big deep breath in, feeling your lungs with calm and peaceful energy. As you exhale, release any tension or stress or worry. Bringing your attention to your breath, observing the natural rhythm of your inhales and exhales. And with each breath, you feel yourself becoming more grounded, more centered. Imagining yourself now surrounded by a soft golden light. And this light is filled with warmth and peace and curiosity. As you just allow this light to wash over you, filling you with a sense of openness and receptivity. Bringing your awareness now to your inner world. Noticing any thoughts or feelings or sensations that arise. And just observing these experiences without judgment or attachment, simply just acknowledging their presence. How often do you feel a sensation in your body and you attach a meaning to it? So as you just observe your thoughts now and your feelings, just notice any patterns or reoccurring themes. Are there any limiting beliefs or negative self-talk that keeps surfacing for you? I want you to approach these with curiosity and compassion. And instead of judging yourself for having these thoughts, simply observe them. Asking yourself, what is this thought trying to tell me? What belief or fear is underlying this thought. And as you examine your thoughts with curiosity, you can begin to identify and challenge any limiting beliefs that might be holding you back here. Maybe you've never even identified them as limiting beliefs, they've just been your regular way of thinking. Now, with your next big deep breath in, I want you to imagine yourself as the empowered, successful woman that you inspire to be. Visualizing yourself overcoming challenges, achieving your goals, living a life of abundance and fulfillment, inviting in the sensations of confidence, the resilience, the unwavering belief in yourself. Observing where this lives in your body. This is the energy that you want to cultivate. Taking a big deep breath in here now. Opening your eyes, feeling refreshed, feeling empowered, feeling ready to embrace this journey now moving forward. As you now approach everything from here on in, all of the thoughts, the doubts that we spoke about earlier with curiosity from a lens of observation. I want you to take a moment to just journal and write any takeaways that you had from that meditation, anything that you don't want to forget. Just a few more seconds for reflection. And if you don't have your journal with you, just sitting and reflecting. What did that feel like in your body? The difference between the sensations that you started with and the sensations of the empowered, confident woman, the one who is already what you deem to be successful. Now, you may like to continue journaling, but I'm going to keep moving on so I don't keep you here all day. I want you to know that my business now, it didn't start like this. And that is because I didn't start like this. Do you remember the money mindset that I told you about with the business in 2013? Well, I brought that money mindset into this business. I started this business by charging $50 an hour and negotiating it. I assumed because people weren't buying from me, they weren't working with me, that it had to be because I was just too expensive. That was the only lens that I had to go down. I automatically discounted people. I would literally offer it before they even asked as well. I also attracted people who were asking me for discounts too. And I felt like I wasn't valued, but I also didn't value myself. I enrolled in multiple courses, which obviously I loved and I got so much out of. But for the first few courses that I enrolled in, it wasn't coming from a space of a real desire to keep learning. It was coming from a story of you are uneducated enough and no one will take you seriously because you're not a psychologist. I had a feeling like I had to look a certain way on social media, had all of these beliefs that I brought in around perfectionism, around body image, around how I was supposed to be perceived, that I had to be perceived as successful. I certainly couldn't let anybody see the wounds. Oh my gosh, why would someone want to learn from me if they knew that I had lost $40,000 in a business previously? These were all of the beliefs that I had. I believed that I couldn't share the energetic side of my business in fear of being teased or judged. I saw something that someone else was doing that worked, and then I would instantly pivot my strategy, doubting everything that I had done, starting again over and over again, constantly searching for an external fix because what I was doing wasn't working. And the external solution wasn't what I needed. So, in my second year in business, I invested $20,000 in a mastermind with a belief that they would give me the right strategy and I would be successful. And yes, I've learned so much amazing strategy from some phenomenal mentors. But here's what actually happened. I had a mirror handed to me. And at first, my ego did not want to hear it because I was the woman helping other people. I was the person who people were coming to. I couldn't be seen to have my own problems. My third line in my human design was so suppressed because, as I said, I am actually really naturally meant to make mistakes. And my sixth line, I am meant to be role modeling, sharing those mistakes. And I was running my business with these core beliefs and core stories and these narratives. Like every time I launch something, no one buys. And with beliefs like every time I launch something, no one buys, what possible outcomes could I even invite into my world? With the shame from my past money experiences, with conditioning from my upbringing around money, about it being scarce, lack, chasing tail, how could my nervous system know how to hold abundance? All I knew was just to scrape by. That's all I knew. And that was what I was getting in my world over and over and over again. So I also had a resistance to opening up space in my calendar for one on ones. At that time, my second child was having to go into daycare for me to do that. And so I was like, oh, I want to have all of these clients. I want to be fully booked. I want to make all this money. But then there was a resistance there that I had to work through of actually, well, where do I create that time and space? And for me, the solution was actually bringing in a VA into my world before I could afford it so that I could put Amelia in daycare for clients, not for admin. I was charging prices that my ideal client wouldn't actually value either because there is such a thing as too cheap. And if I want to work with a client who valued me and I was charging $50 an hour and I was working with people who were negotiating my prices, they did not value their transformation or value me enough either. But that was coming from me. That wasn't because of them. That was coming from me, my energy, my authority, my beliefs, and what I was putting out into the world, my boundaries, all of that, all fueled by my inner world. So for the strategy to work, I had to be the woman who could bring it into my reality. I had to be the woman whose nervous system could operate a business from a window of tolerance and have a healthy emotional experience during times of challenge and stress. Now, I am a mum. I am a multiple business owner. I'm a human. Of course, there is going to be stress and emotional challenges. I had to be the woman who unbecame the traditional mindset, employment, and beliefs because that is tough. Who's like, oh, I can't take a day off work today. I can't move my client because I'm unwell. You know, all of these beliefs that we have, we're going to hold out for our annual leave over Christmas. No, you have a business. You get to do things differently. I had to be the woman who believed in herself enough for others to believe in her as well and to understand my own worth and to be brave enough to charge it. And I had to be the woman who mastered the mindset of a successful entrepreneur, which is what we are going to be talking about today. Today, we are going to be looking at how you can rewire your mindset to shift from that employee thinking to this empowered entrepreneurial leadership, to strengthen your emotional resilience and stop making external results mean something about you and your worth and your potential, and to start breaking through these internal patterns that are causing this self sabotage and imposter syndrome. Because people don't quit because they don't find the right strategy. That's not why they quit. There are countless strategies that any of them could work. They're not all going to be aligned with your strengths. Let's get very clear on that. That's what we do. That's what we really help with in the mastermind, finding your strengths with your strategy. But there are countless options of strategy to choose from. And any of them could work from a lens of bringing in clients and bringing money into your bank account. But here's the statistics that I have heard recently. 90% of first-time businesses fail. That's a pretty scary number. 90% of second-time businesses actually succeed, but 80% of that first 90 don't actually have the courage to try again. So they don't quit because their strategy isn't working, although that's probably what they're telling themselves. They quit because of the feelings that their challenges bring up in their body. They quit because of how it makes them feel. And that's why this inner work is so important. Then I was listening to Profit First again the other day. I absolutely love that system. And he has a very similar statistic. I think he says around 80% of first time businesses fail. That book was written a while ago, though. But he spoke about the number one reason for businesses failing being because they don't have enough profit to keep going. So I started to dive deeper into this. I actually released a podcast on this a couple of weeks ago. I think it's about plugging your energetic money leaks. So go and have a listen to that one. I started to dive into this and I just wanted to share, maybe you can see this. It's a little bit blurry there. It's just my scribbled writing, but it's like what goes into a successful business? Okay, so we have profit here. What goes into a profitable business? Well, there's going to be strategy, there's going to be systems, there's going to be team, there's going to be your business model. But in order to implement the strategy, you need to have the nervous system capacity and the window of tolerance to operate in higher levels of visibility. You need to have money beliefs that are going to allow you to actually receive the money that your strategy is going to bring in, to spend money on strategy. You need to believe and feel safe that you can show up authentically. This all leads back to what I've got over here, which is you. Systems, same thing. What beliefs are you holding that are actually going to allow you to implement systems? Because if you don't believe that you can actually operate a business that doesn't have you on all of the time, you're not going to allow your systems to work for you. If you don't believe that you can invest in things, again, your systems may need that investment. There's all of these things that link back to you, your mindset, your beliefs, and your well being. Hiring team, your business model, all of these things. I'm not going to go because I think you could probably see the pattern here. All of these things lead back to you. Every single one of them leads back to you, your mindset, your beliefs, and your health and well-being as a human, as a business owner. So ultimately, I see success here in three parts. Okay. Strategy is one very important part. Absolutely. I believe in a strengths led strategy. As I said, this is what we support you with in my mastermind container. And if that's something you feel like you are ready for, then please have a chat to me on Instagram after this. Because your business needs strategy, marketing, sales, visibility, team, structure, systems. Then this can all be done in a strengths led way, in a way that aligns with you, your energy, your season of life, your strengths, your skills, all of those things. But then we also have here energetic evolution. And this is your inner world. And this is what most people aren't going to talk to you about. Most people who talk to business owners are talking to you about just the strategy. So, this is your nervous system, your emotional state, your vibration, your spiritual, religious connections, how you self lead, how you clean and keep your energetic field clean and clear, your ability to hold more, your thoughts, your beliefs. And then the third part in my energies of success framework here is healing. And this is your wounds. This is your inner child. This is finding somatic safety. This is self compassion. And this is what we teach, the energetic and evolution and the healing. This is what we teach and support you with in Embodied Entrepreneur. Because your energetic evolution and your healing impact your ability to implement this strategy. Business is the biggest spiritual and healing and self-discovery journey. And I want to remind you, if you're here, that you've willingly entered into this. No one said it was easy. But here's what I see instead. I see the focus always being so external, chasing that strategy, finding every time one thing doesn't work, or we launch once and it doesn't work, or no one turned up to a masterclass and now it doesn't work. That now we've labeled it as that and we go and we look for the next thing. And we actually are blind to what is going on within ourselves to even be able to handle what we've just perceived as rejection. So we need all three. We need strategy, we need healing, and we need energetic evolution. I have a client, a private client who I worked with, and she has an amazing business. She is really successful, and she was being asked to speak on stages. Now, her internal world told her that this was not safe because she had a fear of being visible because of her weight. And so we did hypnosis to work through that so that she could confidently stand up, feeling safe in her own body, teaching her inner child that it was safe for her to be seen and embraced and loved exactly as she was. Another client wanted to book out her calendar, but she was afraid to put herself out in any way, shape, or form in her marketing due to past trauma. So you can see, again, these are not separate. So her marketing strategy was not aligning with what she actually wanted to be bringing into her world because she had these beliefs and these reasons and these experiences to hold herself back. Another wasn't selling any memberships because she believed that she was a bother and that if she emailed people, then she was going to be annoying them. They didn't even know her membership was open. She'd send one email during open cart. And that's because as a child, her survival mechanism was to stay quiet, to not be a bother. She was taught it was safer to not be seen. And this has followed her into her business. And this is why, again, we do this inner work. So let's have a look at our three teachings now, our energy of success. Because, yes, strategy is important. We need it. We need to have one. And I'm not saying that it doesn't play a role because we know it absolutely does. And I love the shift now that so many people are making from that really harsh bro marketing to a more feminine, sustainable model. And a part of that sustainability, because that is what I want to help you with, a business that is successful, sustainable, and scalable. Part of that sustainability comes from your nervous system's capacity to hold it. So the truth is that any strategy could work for you. The strategy is simple. It is analytics, it is numbers, it is traffic. It is identifying your knowledge gaps in like copywriting or upskilling or outsourcing. um, it's being in your body enough to know what strategies align with your strengths and your skill set, your energy and your offer and your audience. But what is difficult though is your response and not making it mean anything about you or your business. I cannot tell you how many times I used to have a failed launch. And, I say it like that because I had no launch runway content, no warm audience, no email list, no real plan. My messaging wasn't nailed in. And I launched once. And when I didn't get the 20 members that I was hoping for, I developed this story, that story I shared with you before. No matter what I put out, no one buys. And then I'd pivot and I'd create new things and new lead magnets and new offers. And I would basically start all over again. How could I ever have narrowed in my messaging or allowed myself to analyze and to tweak and to try again? I had an experience a couple of weeks ago, a couple of months ago actually, where I was running something and the data was showing me, and this is just why it's really important that we don't make this mean something. The data was showing me that signups weren't amazing. I was like, okay, let's look at where this is falling off. And so what I saw was a low converting opt in page. And I was like, okay, we can start with this low converting opt in page because everything else seemed to be working quite well. So I started spending all of this time trying to tweak this landing page, trying to figure out, where I went wrong with the messaging and what I could try instead. Then I realized that the analytics that I had on that landing page were actually wrong. Okay. The platform I was using was giving me wrong data, which meant that the problem that I needed to focus on was not the messaging on the landing page. It actually had a really great conversion rate. What I needed to focus on was the audience that my ads were going to. And you can see how I could have just gone, no one's signing up, no one wants this offer, no one wants to buy from me. Or I could look at the data and make informed decisions and change the whole outcome. Who else has ever had like a failed launch? An empty client calendar, particularly when we're newer in business, but even when we are further ahead in our business. So, if you're sitting here with the current mindset that external factors are solely responsible for your success, and when you find that perfect strategy that or have more time or have more money, it's that I'll be happy when syndrome, you know, then you'll invest and then you'll be successful. Then I want you to actually stop and take a look inwards. We need to become the woman who is resilient enough to not take it personally. And that is the real work. And that is the first mindset shift that I want you to take from today. So I want you to spend a moment now just reflecting when you put something out into the world and it is not received or it is not downloaded or it is not sold, how is that making you feel? How does it make you feel? And then what meaning have you attached to that? So I want you to think about where you feel it. What's it feel like? What meaning have you attached to it? And where did that belief come from? Is that belief still serving you? And then on your piece of paper here, I want you to write the words, I am letting go of. And the belief that you've just identified, I want you to write that down. What is the belief you are letting go of? Write it down on that piece of paper. I'll give you another moment. So, a concept that I absolutely love is borrowing beliefs. If you don't have it yet, then borrow mine. Here is a new belief for you. At no time is it guaranteed that we will create something that someone will want, but it doesn't have to mean anything. Okay. Business is a big journey of learning resilience, and the no's get easier. They do, I promise. And the journey to finding that funnel that will work or the offer that will resonate, it can be fun. It can be fun, but often we have so many conditions on this, and we've not only attaching those meanings as well, excuse me, we're not only attaching those meanings, but we've also put conditions like I need to make X amount of money before a certain time, or I need to see certain results because I've invested X amount of money. And, in those cases, it's not fun. It's stressful and it's pressured. And when things are stressful and pressured, you are operating from a state of nervous system that doesn't allow you to access that part of your brain that you need to be running your business from an optimal space. Sorry, excuse me. So, energy of success shift number 2. I'm the only person who struggles. Who's ever felt like that before? I'm the only person who struggles. I have felt like that. You see all of these people seemingly doing amazing. And remember that people really do show their highlight reels on Instagram. I did a post about this the other day. One of my mentees in my mastermind, she came into the mastermind space and she just had what we termed with love a meltdown. And that's because she was really feeling the challenges and it was hard. And the thing is that we often feel so alone during this because most people who speak to business owners are selling a very specific positive outcome, grow your Instagram audience, launch your six-figure course, all of these things. They're not showing you behind the scenes of how many offers they put out that didn't work or that didn't resonate. They're not showing you behind the scenes of the times that they cried themselves to sleep or just felt like they wanted to go and scroll seek and get a job. That's why we are here talking about these mindset shifts today that are going to actually help you to cultivate that emotional resilience so that you can embody your version of success. So business is hard for everyone, I promise. It really is. You've got to be able to condition your mind to deal with the challenges, to find joy in amongst the stress and support your emotional health and your nervous system health anyway. Okay, the energy that you look after yourself with matters. It really matters. And until you understand your belief system and you hold one that aligns with your desires, you will not move out of imposter syndrome or sabotage or comparison. So we often are going straight for that practical side of our business when we think that we're not moving forward because we think that's the right thing to do. And we overlook the fact that our subconscious programming doesn't actually align with what it is that we are trying to build. So here's, what you don't see online. And I know that this is true from working with really successful women in my private spaces. You can get to that level of success without doing the internal work. Yes, you can. But the toll that it will take on your emotional health, your physical health, your nervous systems, your relationships is going to be harsh. And you see now some of the really successful digital entrepreneurs, in that digital space coming out now saying, I wish it didn't take me this long to take care of me because they built their business at all costs. Okay. And yes, that got them money, but it also got them a burnt out nervous system. It got them, relationship challenges. It got them a physical body that didn't feel like it could continue to support them through the level that they were heading into. And for the last 9 years of them building their businesses, all we saw was how hard they hustled. And that's the message that we got. And they hustled hard, they did. They became successful and they struggled in that success because of the beliefs that they held and the nervous system state that they were operating from. The most successful people in the world who have learned sustainable business that is scalable have learned to master their emotions. They have learned how to have a healthy emotional experience, and that is what I'm here to help you do. They have success habits like exercise, meditation, energetic practices, and morning rituals. They surround themselves with the energy of success. They are really intentional about who they surround themselves with. They are aware of how their belief systems are playing out in their life, and they are aware of where it comes into sabotage in their business, and they are always working on it. And I'm going to explain why in a moment. One of my mastermind clients is currently trying to break a belief that to make money, she has to work ridiculously long hours. And every time she was getting to a launch, and she had these goals for her launch and she was getting the same upper limits come in. She was getting the same patterns of behavior come in, not only within herself, but within her family as well. Same dynamics every time she's trying to launch. And we got to the bottom of that is because her belief from what she saw growing up is that to make money to support her family, she had to work so hard that she wasn't going to be present with her family. You can imagine the inner child in that popping up saying, hey, no way, I don't want to do that. That hurt me. It's going to hurt them. So we need to shift our beliefs because we recreate our conscious world based on those. One of my private clients is currently breaking a belief that she doesn't have what it takes to maintain her new mortgage with her launches, despite 7 years of successful and predictable launches and nearly 100K profit results. Profit, not sales. But she still has to break that belief because she's stepping into her next level, her next something scary. She had to break that belief that she can't sustain that. And that came from a thing of security, again, from her inner beliefs. And for me, the last 18 months in this space has been a huge shift from feeling guilty from having a day off or feeling, like I needed to, or feeling bad if I needed to move clients to prioritize me or look after sick kids, which all came from that traditional employment, from all of those beliefs that I carried with me. So I now work less with a calendar that is as full as I choose it to be and 2 group programs than what I did when I had 1 to 2 clients a week and no group programs and drowned myself in unnecessary admin. I am emotionally detached from money. Okay. That means I'm not laying awake at night stressing over it because I put money on a pedestal and associate it with fear. I had to work really hard to disconnect from that. I'm healthier physically, mentally, emotionally than I've ever been. And for the last 12 months, my motto is the less I do, the more I make. And I have to slow down to speed up. So this does not mean that it's not hard or that there is not challenges. But my nervous system's capacity to experience the challenge and then recover from the stress response, because there is an actual end to that stress cycle, is a testament to the work that I've done internally. And that is how we build our emotional resilience. So I want you to spend some time now reflecting, how am I handling the challenges in my business? Am I looking after my mind, my body, and my emotions in a way that is supportive of me being that successful woman that I connected to earlier? What stories do I have about this? And where does that belief come from? I'll give you a moment to reflect. And is this still serving you? I want you to take your piece of paper, and underneath your last belief, I want you to write now, what else are you letting go of? What belief are you letting go of right here, right now? I'll give you another moment. So I really, really suggest to you that you find the evidence that it's possible for you. If you are struggling to believe that you can have a successful business and work part time hours, then find someone who's doing it. If you find it hard to believe that you can travel whilst running your business with kids, find someone who's already doing it. If you find it hard to believe that you can still work your job and grow your business, find and not burn out emotionally, find someone who's doing it. This is why we have masterminds. This is why we surround ourselves with people who understand. Containers like Embodied Entrepreneur, where we get to come in and we get to get that real support with real people, because we want to find evidence that it is possible for you. Okay. So now it's time to borrow my belief again. Here is a new belief for you. I lead myself the same way I lead others. And here's a little love punch. Do you actually have the right to coach others if you are not working on your own self leadership? Ooh. How are you leading yourself? So let's chat now about our third and final mindset shift for today. And this is the mindset shift of, I've got it harder than her because. And I'm sure we've all had those moments where it's like, oh, it's easy for her. She doesn't have a job. It's easy for her because she doesn't have kids. Oh, it's easy for her because, she's got business background. It's easy for her because she's whatever. We've all got those stories. No successful person is immune to challenges. Not one of us. This is about victim mindset versus hero mindset. And this is why I said earlier, we are continually working on those challenges, because at every new level, you will have a new challenge to overcome. Okay. And sometimes these are external, and sometimes they are internal, and sometimes they seem like they are totally unrelated to what it is that you are going through. For example, I would get sick every time I'm going through an energetic upgrade, every time. There would be, just like with my client, dynamics within my own home that would change when I was trying to make money. And these are where your upper limits show up. If you haven't read that book, Upper Limits by Gay Hendricks, highly recommend you do. They show up in sabotages like illness and family drama and things seemingly going wrong. So remember, I said every successful entrepreneur continues to do the internal work. My multi seven figure mentors still have a new mindset monster at every single new level. Remember the client that I just spoke about in the last lesson that we just spoke about, getting to that new level of profit and what she's responsible for, even with all the evidence of successful launches. New level, new devil, every single time. It is like a video game. It's like we get to the next level and there has to be a challenge to overcome before you can unlock the next. And if the challenge is internal, you are unlocking a new version of yourself. And if the challenge is external, you are still unlocking a new version of yourself because you are being gifted an opportunity to deal with that challenge as the next level version of you. And that is why we connected to her right at the very beginning of this. So is she saying things like, I've got it harder than that person because I have kids and they don't, or my kids are younger, or my kids are older, and I've got more, gosh, we're all taxis, aren't we, for sports and things, like, or is she saying things like, it's harder for me because they have money and I don't, or they have that mentor and I don't, or I'm working full time and they're not, or my audience is small and hers isn't. Is she saying things like, I doubted myself, so I better throw in the towel? The launch failed, so I better never try again. Or it's my husband's fault that I can't spend more time on my business. It's Facebook's fault for not getting my ads out. I had a moment like that the other day. Facebook ads are being weird and I'm struggling to crack it. And I had this moment where I was like, Facebook hates me. But no, I need to pivot to my organic strategy. Are we saying things to ourselves like, I am disadvantaged because I am ADHD, because I am dyslexic? I know some very, very successful people who have learned to build their business in a way that supports their neurodivergency and employ teams to support any kind of learning disabilities that they have and experience so they can work in their zone of genius. But I know it's so hard. I've worked with so many clients who have things like dyslexia, who have things like ADHD, who have been brought up to believe that these are challenges for them. And I know they've experienced challenge, but I mean, they have these deep-seated beliefs because of the stories they've been told, because the way that they had been taught in traditional systems did not give them the ability to learn in a way that is conducive to their needs. And so they have these stories and they're bringing those into their business too. Or does your future self have a different story? Okay. Again, if this was a video game, you'll always have a new villain before your next level. For me, I get sick before every new level. Every single time I purge. I'd like a different ascension symptom because it's not nice, but I purge. There would always be energy shifts in dynamics. As I said, this was an upper limit. And I was literally having this conversation in a hot seat call the other day with a mentee who has family things going on in her launch. It derails her launch every time. So I want you to think about your video game. And she's on the other side of that now. She's on the other side of it. And her body tried to make her sick. And she's come out with her best launch results yet. So I want you to think about your video game. Every level gets harder, just like in business. Every level gets harder. The challenges become more risky. Okay. And every level will get harder in your business. Every level in your business, your challenges will become more risky. But with every level, your tolerance increases. Your threshold for risk increases. And if you're leading yourself, like we spoke about in our mindset shift number 2, if you're immersing yourself in support with a great coach or mentor and you are open to growth, it will become easier. So, my question to you now is, are you going to be the victim or are you going to be the hero? So, here is some time for reflection. What stories am I telling myself that are keeping me in this victim mindset? How does that make me feel? What would my future self do instead? And how can I find joy, gratitude, or abundance in my life right now, despite the challenges? I'll give you a moment. And when you're ready, you can borrow my belief. I take radical responsibility for where I am now on my journey because business is hard, life is hard. No successful person is immune to the challenges and the tragedies of life. But your ability to find joy and abundance and gratitude and fun and to detach from the meanings during this is what is going to make or break you. This is mastering your inner world. So, taking your piece of paper now, what are you letting go of? Writing it down. I am letting go of. You should have three beliefs or three mindset shifts that you are ready to let go of. Maybe a behavior. And what we're going to do now is we're going to take this paper. I want you to do this with me. Take this paper, fold it in half. Oh, I've got two. Fold it in half. Let's fold it again. Okay. This paper holds beliefs from a past version of you, so I want you to thank it. Thank it for getting you this far. Thank it for this ability to bring these things into your awareness and for doing what it believed was keeping you safe and what it believed was right. This past version of you who got you to where you are now. Then let's declare that you're ready. I'm ready to release myself from these patterns. And we're going to rip it. And then we're going to rip it again. And you can rip it again if you can. Okay. Now, when you're done here, if you have a safe place to do so, you can burn this. You can wash it away down the sink. I want you to find a way to release this from your world, an environmentally friendly way to release this from your world. And then just cut any cords, any remaining cords that you need to. Okay. Woo! I told you you weren't going to leave exactly the same as you were coming in. You are letting go of beliefs. So, are you really, really ready to become the woman who is the embodiment of your success? Because here you have three choices. And the first choice is to go, do you know what? I'm not ready. And that's okay. You can keep doing what you're doing. And you're probably going to operate from some of these again, and that's all right. The second step is to go at it on your own. Okay, there are plenty of free resources online, Google, YouTube. There are certainly podcasts. There are things that you can find that will help you and guide you on your personal development journey. Or your third choice is to allow me to help you do that. And if your answer is yes, then let me introduce you to my 5-stage activation pathway that is the heartbeat of the embodied entrepreneur 12-month experience. This is a new identity. This is an unbecoming. It is an embodiment. Okay. Our activation pathway enables you to create a new standard of living and feeling in business, one that is not stressful, one that is not fear based, but instead it is abundant and it is aligned with your values and it is infused with unshakable confidence because that is what you deserve. So, with my activation pathway, we have 5 stages that we work through over 12 months, and you get to work at these on your own pace because you might start over here, or you might start here, sorry, and you've done some of that work, so you breeze right through it, but then you come here and it takes a little bit more time. Okay. So, everybody's journey is different. But we start with our foundations because even if you've done this work before, you are entering into this with new intentions as a newer version of yourself. So establishing a strong base through clarity of your vision and your values and your purpose is really important. And every bit of work that you do in Embodied Entrepreneur is going to circle back to those foundations. The next step on our activation pathway is the self-belief. Stage 2. And that's where we really focus on overcoming self doubt and imposter syndrome to build your authority, to build your confidence, um, And then we move into stage three, which is our unbecoming, where we're really challenging past labels, past identities, limiting beliefs and behaviors so we can actually create energetic and internal space for that growth and transformation, enabling us to hold the shifts that we make in stage four, which is the abundance, where we're shifting our mindset towards optimizing our energy and creating space and expansive goals. We work with money, we work with time. And then we move into our final stage, which is our activation. And in the activation, we are learning to overcome fear. We are diving deeper into that self leadership, into that body trust, and going through this really powerful activating process that brings together all of this work that you have been doing, all of this unbecoming, and these new beliefs that you have been cultivating, and this new nervous system state that you've been cultivating, so that you can be the woman who holds your version of success for sustainable, for scalable, and successful business. So, the Embodied Entrepreneur Program is where I would like to invite you now as your next step. If you have felt like you are ready to make these mindset shifts, if you are ready to be that woman who does that internal work, who has that internal resilience and that emotional tolerance and the beliefs that support her, the Embodied Entrepreneur is a 12-month integration. It is the essential personal growth and healing work for coaches, for healers, light workers, online course and membership creators, service based business owners who are seeking to really create the internal foundations needed to hold that strategy, needed to step forward into a purposeful business, one that integrates with your values and your authenticity into every moment of living. Because the woman that you needed to be in your traditional job, the woman that you've needed to be as mum, as sister, as a wife, she is not the same part of you. We're made up of multiple parts. She's not the same part of you that will lead your business forward as a successful entrepreneur. So, in this space, we discover how to align your internal world, your beliefs, your perceptions, your inner child healing, your nervous system with your external desires. We are working with your subconscious. We are directly shedding the conditioning, the thought processes, the past behaviors that are stopping you from living your most authentic life. When Nicole came into Embodied Entrepreneur, she was feeling really low confidence. She was really struggling with her ability to, or her belief, sorry, in her ability to build a successful business. She felt lost. She felt confused. She couldn't identify with the word entrepreneur at all. She knew that she wanted to create freedom through her business, but she didn't have these beliefs within herself that she could. And she also had a beliefs that showing up authentically was not safe for her. And so the difference from where she is now since coming through, and Nicole came through the initial embodied entrepreneur, that was only 4 months. The difference now and from then when she came in is so far apart. She feels more confident to actually show up as herself. She's rebranded her business. She is speaking about the topics that matter the most to her. Her anxiety and her overwhelm has significantly reduced. And she actually finds herself like enjoying what she's doing. She has come so far, and it was such a beautiful journey to watch. So I wonder if you have experienced any of these, if there is a gap between where you want to be now and, where you want to be and where you are now. The missing link is going to be that identity work. And so maybe you're experiencing this with things like putting your prices up and then the self doubt and the fear kicks in, or you're ready to launch your new online course and overwhelm or frustration takes over, and then it's, oh, you're already anticipating the stress and it's like, no, I'm not even going to do this. And you have the beliefs that I used to have, every time I put something out, nobody buys. Maybe you find yourself constantly comparing yourself to others or feeling like you are not enough. Maybe you are struggling to say no as well to clients or projects that aren't actually aligned with your values too. Or maybe you find yourself procrastinating on important tasks due to fear of failure. Or maybe you're experiencing burnout and chronic stress and exhaustion from trying to do everything yourself. If you resonate with those, let me share how we will make this transformation happen for you. So, after our 12 months together, you will emerge with new levels of self belief and awareness, a transformed relationship with time and money, and clarity on your values and your vision. And finally, a magnetic offer to lead with as well, because I'm going to share some pretty juicy bonuses with you in a moment. But you're also going to have the confidence to back yourself and your business, because the unique way that I approach this works not only with your conscious mind, but also your subconscious mind, body, and energy system for deep, lasting change. So, we are going to support you to come into your power and your authority by overcoming your self doubt so you can fully back yourself in your business. We are going to connect you back to that big vision and that purpose and really help you to embody what that is for you so that you can make aligned decisions based on the pathway that you've created in your mind. We're going to unbecome past identities. We're going to rewrite your relationships with time and money and create safety in your nervous system for confidence in visibility and confidence in all that you do. And we're going to also set you up with the energetic foundations as well to put your business aligned on the pathway of success. So before I tell you what is actually included, if you want to hear the nitty gritty of the, like the inclusions, before I tell you what is actually included, this is a very, very safe space where you are invited to go deep. So I want to share this container with you, making sure that you are the right person. Okay. And it's absolutely fine to opt out if you're not. So, this is for the woman who does have a clear vision of her business, or maybe a clear vision of what she would like to be experiencing in her life, but you're lacking the confidence and the clarity to back yourself and take those next steps. You may be juggling multiple roles. Maybe you have reached burnout. Maybe you're at your energetic capacity. Maybe you're struggling because you have actually filled your calendar and you don't know how to scale, but you don't have the beliefs that support you to do that either. Maybe you're ready to step out of your 9 to 5 and you're aspiring to actually be an entrepreneur and you want to start with the mindset shifts that are going to, and a belief system and a nervous system that's going to support you right from the get go. This is for you if you know that there is more to life than being stuck trading time for money. If you are on a journey of healing and authenticity and you're seeking a business that really aligns with your values, if you love meeting your next edge and you're prepared to hold yourself, and I'll be there too, in the depth of discomfort because it is uncomfortable, we know that too, but it takes that to elevate to your next level. If you're not uncomfortable, you're not growing. And if you understand that the ripple effect of your healing, that this has a huge ripple effect on not only your client outcomes, but your family, everything. Now, equally, this is not for you if you believe you have all the answers and you're fully healed and you're resistant to external support. If you're looking for a quick magic band aid fix without putting in the work, if you're really content with your current situation, you're not looking for growth, and that is fine. It is not for you if you believe that more external strategy is the answer to your sabotaging your launches, if you are not open to a mind body holistic approach. It is not for you if you are looking for a business strategy specifically or a private mentoring program. This is a group program with personalized support. I have other programs that teach strategy. I have a private mentoring container that I do work privately with you. So you're welcome to take a look at those, but this is not that. If you are complaining, blame gaming, excuse making, then this is not the container for you. And if you just have no business, you have no intention of creating a business or being an entrepreneur, we do talk specifically about mindset for business in this space. So then that wouldn't be for you either. Now, over these 12 months, you will be deeply supported through these core inclusions here. We first of all have our portal work. Now, as I said before, this is not a course that you have to keep up with. This is a personal experience. You may spend some time in more modules than others or on one stage of the activation pathway than another. And that is okay because we're all coming in differently. You will deeply explore my 5 foundational elements of an embodied entrepreneur, which is your 5 step activation pathway. And you can access this portal online on your phone via an app at any time that suits you. Okay, so it's semi self paced in that space, um, so that you have plenty of time to integrate and sit with what you need to sit with. Now, we have a monthly integration call, and this is where I will be on a Zoom call with you as a small group, personally guiding you through your roadblocks that are keeping you stuck through this program. You will be receiving support to process and integrate what it is that you are unbecoming and what it is that you are stepping into. You also get the benefit then of the beautiful energetic frequency of a group of women who are on a aligned journey, but also holding space for each other to heal. And there is just no value that you can put on that, to be honest. Now, for stages 2 through 5, you have a power hypnosis that accompanies each stage. These are powerful hypnotic tracks that are really custom tailored to the stage that you are working through, so that as you go and create that internal space, you can work directly with your subconscious to rewire those beliefs and create new neural pathways that are going to support the identity of you as a successful entrepreneur. And then we have our Slack space. So if you are working on your embodied entrepreneur work at any time, you can come and pop it in Slack. And then I am in there 1 day a week. The ability to voice note in Slack means I get to actually voice reply to you. You can text, you can voice message, you can share attachments, you can share beliefs, you can ask for help. And I'll be in there once a week to help you through all of that as well. So I am trying to give you as much support as possible so that you really, because this is tough work, right? This is tough work. So this program was initially 4 months. I have moved it to 12. It is now a 12-month program. So you really do have that time for that deeper integration. Now, joining at the moment will give you some pretty amazing bonuses. These bonuses have been selected to help you bring the up-leveled energy of your personal growth and healing into the foundations of your business and your offers. So, this first bonus is valued at $1,050. It is my essential energetic business foundations, where we are going to come back to the very foundations of your business, but from a very holistic perspective, so that you can create an aligned business that does not sacrifice your health or your relationships and that ties back to those personal foundations that we start with. The second bonus is access to my soul aligned offer creation workshop. This is a 3-hour workshop that takes you through my signature process to really help you create an offer that your clients just feel like you are just inside of their head. It is a no brainer offer process to magnetically attract the right people into your offers to make them feel like it is a full body yes for them. And you get access to that. It's already in the portal. You can jump on and you can work through that. I recommend working through that though after doing your business foundations and after working through a little bit of those stages, particularly stage 1 and stage 2, because your offers are going to up level. They're going to up level as you up level, I promise. So I want to introduce you to Mukti. Mukti came into embodied entrepreneur struggling with self-doubt, limiting beliefs, and nervous system dysregulation. She was looking for strategies to help her with her blocks and her triggers. She really feels like embodied entrepreneur has helped her really delve into her life and her thoughts and her aspirations. She has learned to understand herself at a deeper level. She has moved through so many personal blocks. She's actually moved into the mastermind now, which is really exciting. And it was an absolute pleasure to support Mukti through this program. So you can access Embodied Entrepreneur, and I'm going to drop a link in for you here. My DMs are open. And I would like to have a conversation with you because I am not here to sell you something that does not feel stretchy yet exciting. I'm not here to sell you something that you don't need. That is, I've got nothing to gain from that. Um, Having someone also in this container who is not a right fit impacts the energy of the group. So a DM conversation is a no obligation, just a chat. If you are unsure, if you have questions, then come over to Instagram. It's jessica.reid.ilc and we're going to have a chat. If this is something that you are not willing to commit to, if something you're not suitable to, then it's really worth having those conversations. So, the energetic exchange here that you see is a commitment to yourself. It is you saying, I'm here, I am committed to this journey because I am not going to drag you to calls. You need to have some skin in the game. So, the investment for Embodied Entrepreneur is currently $3,333 for your 12-month experience. And as you can see here, there are options to break that payment down either monthly or weekly. Now, because you are on this masterclass, I have a special discount for you, and this discount is going to apply. And it's a special offer that is going to apply to you for 48 hours from when you are watching this. Okay. So 10% using the code entrepreneur, 10% off any of the payment options. And you can see here that brings the pay in full down to 2,970. The monthly payments down to 249.97. And these are AUD pricing. So if you're US, it's a little cheaper. Oh, it's cheaper, but it's exchange exchange rate. And weekly pricing as well. There is $58.50. So you need to type that code in, entrepreneur, and that will automatically apply that pricing 10% discount to all of the payment options. All right. And you can do that straight from that link that I've just dropped in. If you are on the replay, then you will be able to find that link to Embodied Entrepreneur directly beneath this replay. So, I also want to make sure that I've got you covered with another amazing bonus, my full online library of EFT tapping circles, my Thrive Self-Care Hub. This is a collection of really powerful EFT audios, meditations, affirmations, self-hypnosis, journaling prompts. It is invaluable for keeping your head in the game and your energy in check because I want you to feel equipped to handle anything that your business and life is going to throw at you. Okay. So this bonus here is all there for you. It is valued at around $680 and it is a gift for you for being on this masterclass if you join Embodied Entrepreneur. Now, people often ask me what happens if I can't make the live calls, and that does happen because obviously there's life, there's business, and if you have any other questions, drop again. My DMs are open and we can have a conversation to make sure that you are comfortable with your investment and that you're making a fully informed decision. So if you can't make live calls, then you simply come into Slack for your support. You can voice message in what your question is, where you're stuck, what you need help with. That space is there. And I will be in Slack once a week to answer those questions and to voice message you back or text if you prefer. I will probably voice. You can do whichever you feel comfortable with. But even if you can't make the calls, you still get the integration support in Slack. Okay. So that was really important to me. Obviously, I have no idea what your budget is as well. But if you're thinking that this is outside of your budget, then, and maybe it is because I don't know, but I come across people with a real block to spending money on themselves. And so I just want to make sure that this is not that. Okay. Coming back to that 3 parts of success, if you would happily jump into another Reels course, even though you've done another 3 before, and you're questioning spending money on yourself, I want you to sit with whether that is actually a block for you of whether or not you can invest in yourself. Okay. And then sit with what could the return on investment be for you if you could get out of your own way and you could believe in yourself and back yourself and be that confident entrepreneur in your business. So if you're thinking I'm already stretched for time, that is why this is a 12-month integration, because life gets busy, because priorities jump in, because kids need us, because, all the things, illness happens, all the things. And it also allows time for integration. Okay, so we have one call a month. Slack is accessible to you whenever you need it, and your online portal is accessible to you whenever you need it. So you don't have to keep up. Okay. Your body will do what it needs, and your release and your processing will take whatever time your body needs. Everything in the portal, most things in the portal are as bite sized as possible. To help with the busyness of life as well. But you might find that there are periods of time where you are in and you're doing all this work, and then there are periods of time where you are disintegrating and you're observing your up level. And that's fine. That's why it's a 12-month integration. Now, at the moment, our calls are 10 a.m. It is currently Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time. It's obviously can't help those time changes, but at the moment they are 10 a.m. I have a client in the US who joins us. I think for her it's about 8 p.m. when she's joining us. So happy, there is some tools that you can look at time conversion as well. So basically, if you are English speaking, so you can understand the content, and you can make the time difference, then you're welcome. There's no limitation in terms of what country you join us from if you're happy with the time difference. So if you haven't started your business yet, but you would like to start with those real internal foundations, then this is also going to be an amazing program for you. And if you are not service based, but you are an impact driven entrepreneur wanting to unbecome the traditional ways of thinking, clearing your internal blocks to success, then yes, this program will likely still serve you. The strategy bonuses might not all apply to you depending on what your business is. But if you want to have a chat in the DMs, then please again come over and let's have a conversation to make sure this is an informed decision. So again, you apply your code entrepreneur, you have 48 hours. I will send you emails reminding you of when this 48 hours expires, and that will give you this discount. Now you can still join after that 48 hours, but it won't be with that applied entrepreneur code. Oh, I cannot wait to see who comes into embodied entrepreneur. Now, congratulations, you have made it to the end of today. I am uploading right now your power hypnosis. You might like to download that, but it will also be in your emails as well. You're also now in the draw if you were here live, and you shared your selfie, to win a private coaching session with me too. Oh, thank you so much for spending your time with me today. And if you are on replay, I cannot wait to hear your takeaways. Come and share with me over on Instagram what you let go of. What was on that piece of paper that you were letting go of? And of course, if you have any questions about embodied entrepreneur, then come and have a chat with me about that as well. Oh, I'm so grateful for your time and your presence on today's call, and so happy that you carved out this time for yourself as well. I hope that these mindset shifts have had a great impact on you, and I cannot wait to hear from you over in DMs and see what you let go of today. Thank you so much for joining me. Have the most amazing day.